Hello, welcome back to Metal Man Productions, and thanks for stopping by. Today I have to replace a set of tongs that I broke last weekend. These were farrier's tongs that I pretty much used as flat jaw tongs. But they finally gave up the ghost and the boss broke in half last weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and replace them. I'm not going to make another set of farrier's tongs. I'm just going to make a set of flat jaw tongs that's going to hold the same size material that I was using these for. So I think this will give me a little bit more control, better grip, and stuff like that. But yeah, I pretty much use these things for everything, picking stuff up. I use these quite often for my heat treating, quenching, and stuff like that. So they're going to be sorely missed, but you know, nothing lasts forever. So what I got here is a piece of spring steel. I think it's around 13 inches long, about 1.25 inches wide. As you can see, I cut it diagonally. So I've made this style tong before, and if you don't like drawing out reins, then this is a pretty good alternative to avoiding that, as long as you have a long enough piece of flat bar. So that is the plan, that's the idea. I'm going to go ahead and get the forge hot, get started, and yeah, we'll see you at the anvil.
Alright, I went ahead and took some marks. That's 2 inches from the end. This one's 3 inches from the end. So this is going to be the isolation for the jaws. This is going to be the boss, and this is going to be where the rein starts. Alright, so I can do this on the horn, but I made this little tool up, kind of make it cleaner. Now I'm just isolating the flat jaw part. So I got that isolated pretty good. And at the same time, drawing that jaw area out to get a nice useful section of jaw material. And this one's about done. Kind of thought I would come down just over halfway down, so this one's about done. Alright, so that little tool came in handy. I got the jaw area isolated to the front of the boss, and I'm going to isolate it behind the boss going into the reins. Alright, see how that works? Got my little boss area set up. I come back and take out some of that fatness. So I'm working back in these reins. And pretty much the only part I really need to focus on is right behind the boss. So we're getting set up here. Gonna work back in here, get it to the thickness I want, and then we're gonna punch a hole. Alrighty, let's go ahead and punch my hole. Try to find the center of that boss. got a hole, Now it's going to expand that out. So I have a 3/8 inch Pritchett hole. So that is what I'm going to expand my punched hole to. Then I'll sort through my bucket of bolts over there and find me a 3/8 bivet, and that's what we'll make the connecting pin with. So as you can see, it's opening up that boss area, making it look kind of nice. So I'm just kind of forging lightly getting the upsets out from doing all the set downs. I think I will come back and do I think I'm going to come in and lay in a few teeth. But I'm going to go ahead and get everything smoothed out, thinned down. Doesn't need to be that thick. This is actually leaf spring steel, so it's going to be pretty strong. I'm not going to have to overcompensate for weak metal. Let's see, I'll lay out some teeth in a dark heat. I ain't going to go too crazy with it. Just kind of do like a, almost like a leaf pattern. Alright, so I got everything marked out. Now I'm going to change chisels. I'm going to use a straight bladed chisel to set the lines. And this will probably take a couple heats. Because she's cooling off quick. Alright, so I got my pattern cut in for the grips or teeth or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know if that makes a difference, but important note, if you're using this as a tutorial, and yeah. Good luck if you are. Both of the tong sides, or blanks, have to be identical. So your grips are going to be on the same side. Your offsets for the reins are going to be on the same side. Your offsets for the jaws are going to be on the same side. Everything needs to be identical. We're to the point now where I'm going to go ahead and twist these jaws to make a usable set of tongs, and they're going to be twisted in the same exact direction. So I'm going to twist, so the reins are coming in on the left side, your right side, and I'm going to be twisting to the counterclockwise to the left, and I'm going to twist this one to the left as well. So you do everything identical. You don't make one opposite of the other because you're flipping them over. So it kind of messes with your head a little bit. Just remember, you got to make them identical, you got to twist them identical, everything's identical. And then when you go to put them together, you'll flip one upside down and then it'll work. So yeah, just in case you're using this for a tutorial, just remember to make them identical. And if you're using this for a tutorial, then Lord help you. Alright, so I have to make sure I get this in the vise and pretty much the same exact spot. I'm going to be twisting this away. It's kind of tough to twist, so it might take a couple of hits because if you go too fast, what's going to happen is you're going to tear the metal. So I'm going to take another heat. You can see that that's just scale tearing, but if I go too far, it's going to wind up tearing the metal. I'm just going to do these one at a time. I try to do them at the same time. I'll wind up screwing it up. So I'm just going to kind of straighten that up. Get my wrench back on here and turn it a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. So it took me two heats to get that twisted, and I don't have any cracking in here, so that's a good sign. I didn't weaken it at all. Of course, all this is going to be cleaned up either on files or the belt sander, so because right now it's going to interfere with the boss, but we'll get to all that later. Alright, so after I twisted it, I went ahead and cleaned the reins up a little bit more, try to make them a little bit smoother. Try to get everything as close to the same length as I can. What I have here is two identical matching pieces now. And what's going to happen is this is going to roll over. Hold on. It's going to be like this. And this is going to roll over like this. I'm sorry, like this. So I got two identical pieces that's going to fit together like this. Now something else I like to do is put a step in it, and that allows the reins to be one on top of the other instead of one sideways. You can completely skip this step, not important. But the weird thing is you're still going to step it the same exact way. So I'm going to come out of the forge, I'm going to come onto the anvil, and I'm just going to kind of step this down about half the thickness of the material. It doesn't have to be a lot because you're going to do both of them. And you're going to do both of them the exact same. So everything always is the exact same because when you flip it over, it mirrors. So yeah, let's do that next, show you how I do that, and I'll be ready for a rivet. Alright, I'm going to come out of the anvil, and the wide side of the jaw is going to be up. And we're just going to come out about the same distance as I did the other one. I got about 2 inches here. Just use my straight peen right off the side of the anvil. And you get that nice little kink. I think that's the technical name for that. Technically that is a kink. And we could do a test to see if it's enough, and if you need to go a little bit more, just do the same thing again until you get the effect that you want. So I grabbed another set of tongs, and this is kind of what we're going to be looking at. Be something like this. And the reins are pretty much right over top each other. So I still have to come in here and clean up all of that in there so I can get my my two pieces together, but it's kind of where it's going to be. I probably can come in and nah, I'm just going to leave it. This is going to be fine until I get the rivet in. So I'm going to let these cool down. I'm going to off camera show you what we're going to do anyways. I'm going to off camera on my belt sander clean up this twist so the two pieces will fit flat together. The outside is really irrelevant. You can do that if you want, but it's not necessary. You just got to make sure that the boss area is nice and flat. And once I get that cleaned up, then I'll be able to make sure everything's nice and flat, piece it together, get a rivet in it, and then we'll set the jaws up. So I probably should have did this before I put the offset in the reins, but I had to come in here and so I went over to the belt sander, knocked off all the sharp corners. So now I'm just kind of setting that twist back down into itself to give myself more clearance for the jaws to move. Yeah, I really wish I would have done that different. Setting the offset in the reins probably should be the last step I should have done before I put the rivet in, but it's all good. We're back on track. So you can see where that twist was. Again, like I said, you can use a file too. File off the high sharp edges, that way you don't get a cold shut, and then you can hammer that back down onto itself. And that, of course, gives us a nice, clean working boss area. So that looks good. All that looks good, looks good, looks good. Got a little bit of lineup to do on the jaws, no problem. The reins look good. So, yeah, I think we're ready to put a rivet in here and make sure everything's gonna work out fine. Just take a minute and look at it, make sure. All right, so I got my pivot, basically just a bolt that I cut the length. So get it set. It's always fun. Getting it started. It's always fun. Hate doing rivets. All right, this is my third heat on the rivet. And I think I got it set pretty good. I think I'm gonna get my ball peen and just kind of decorate it up. So this is spring steel, and it's not going to be a good idea to dunk it in water, so I'm going to work it here. Just to kind of keep it moving. But yeah, they look pretty good. Still got to line the jaws up, so I'm going to come back with my ball peen and decorate this pivot up a little bit. Alright, a little bit of decoration on the pivot, and then we're going to line up the jaws. Then we're going to set the stock size. Then we're going to drop the hammer. Keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving. Alright. As it cools down, it'll loosen up. Alright, that's all I'm going to do there. So let's go ahead and get these jaws lined up in the vise. Let's see here. not going to do another heat on that. I want to do it all in one take. Okay, so after all right, so I've just been shaping and getting this in the vise, getting everything straight, fitting the jaws to a piece of stock, just kind of getting everything lined up, straightened up, and fitted to the stock that I want it to be. So go ahead and let this cool down. We'll get some close-ups of the new tongs and talk about what we did. So hold on. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. About the only other thing I did off camera was I took this over to the belt sander and just kind of cleaned everything up, made everything even here across the front, rounded off all the edges, rounded off the reins just for a little bit more comfort. So just pretty much aesthetics. And the tongs will hold flat stock actually really well, really nice and tight. It will hold down to this. I think this is probably about 1/8 of an inch or just under 3/16. Holds that pretty nice too. I think this is something a little bit fatter. Now it's probably 1/4 inch too. So if I had to fine tune them as I work with them, no big deal. But right now I'm kind of in the range where I want to be, between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. So I think I'm good to go. So if all you have to work with is flat bar stock, this twist method is a good alternative to just forging out tongs with, you know, big enough round bar, big enough square bar. A lot of the cutout tongs basically use the twist method as well, where the tong blank is already cut out, and all you have to do is, sometimes you have to drift the hole, sometimes you don't on tong blanks, but the biggest part of tong blanks is you have to twist the jaw just like we did here today. But we kind of just did the set downs on the plane of the bar that you could do the set downs, and we just utilized a twist for the set down on the jaw. So yeah, all in all, turned out pretty good. Hold stock good. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Check out my Instagram. It's at Middleman Productions. Check out my Etsy store. That's also at Middleman Productions. So remember, Christmas is coming up. You're looking for a one-of-a-kind gift. Yeah, go to my Etsy store. Check out what I got to offer. Yeah, we'll shut this down and we'll see you on the next one.